Hi there, welcome to this video on customer revenue prediction. It is always great to know how much your customers are likely to spend because this helps in better understanding the revenue stream as well as plan the marketing budget. So in this video you will see on how we can use machine learning to predict customer revenue using the steps which are shown right now on the screen. I'll be explaining the steps using examples and visuals, and there is no complex programming screens. So whatever your profession, you can just sit back, relax and enjoy the video. You can also experience some of the techniques which are shown in this video on your data, but without doing any coding, using the channel's website experiencedatascience.com. The link is in the description below. So friends, let's get started, but do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like and comment on the video. The business context is predicting revenue for a retailer who sells merchandise such as sports jackets, t-shirts and caps. The objective is to predict the customer revenue generated through the retailer's website. As the objective is to predict the revenue on the website, the data has got information related to the website visits such as the visitor ID, the visit number, the channel, the country, the time of visit, the number of pages viewed by the visitor. In addition, you also have the historical information on what was the revenue generated during these visits. Now let us do some data exploration to see how the different fields in the data can impact the revenue generated. And let us start with Pareto analysis, which is shown on the screen. On the x-axis you have the revenue, and on the y-axis you have the percentage of website visitors who are generating this revenue. Here you see that 90% of the visitors do not generate any revenue. Only 10% of the visitors are generating all the revenue for the website. Now for the customers who are generating the revenue, let us do an analysis on the customer behavior using a revenue heat map which is shown on the screen. On the y-axis you have the visitor ID, and on the x-axis you have the number of visits made to the website. And the color of the cell is an indication of the revenue generated. Here you can clearly see that there are only few customers who have bought something during the first visit. Most of the customers buy something after multiple visits to the website. You can also see that some customers have generated revenue almost after about 200 visits to the website. Another interesting analysis is the revenue per pages visited, which is shown here as a country heat map. Darker color, for example, in US and Canada means high revenue per pages visited, which implies that visitors buy after seeing only few pages. Lighter color, for example, in India and Pakistan means low revenue per pages visited, which means visitors see many pages before purchasing something. So data exploration has given us three important notions. The first, only few customers who are visiting the website are generating revenue. The second, for those who are generating revenue, it takes multiple visits before customers buy something. And the third, the country of the visitor and the number of pages seen also has got an impact on the revenue generated. Now let us talk about feature engineering, which is the step of creating additional data columns from the existing ones. Now, because the data exploration has shown us that it takes multiple visits before the customers buy something, it is important to create data which reflects what happens between the first visit and the visit which the customer bought something. So here are some additional data which we can create, which will reflect the behavior between the first visit and the revenue generating visit. Now we have our input data and we have our target variable, which is the revenue. The next step is to find a pattern which connects the input data and the target variable. And this pattern is also called machine learning model. And we will create two models. The first model will predict if the visitor will buy something or no. Now this is useful because we know from data exploration that 90% of the customers do not generate any revenue. The second model will then predict the revenue for the customers who are likely to buy something. Now let us look into the first model, which is shown on the screen. This model is based on the decision tree algorithm. This model has got different fields and threshold values, and it leads to a prediction whether the visitor will buy something or no, indicated as yes or no. Now let us take this user who is from Pakistan, and he has already made 8 visits and has made about 280 page views during all these 8 visits. Now let us predict if this visitor will buy or no. The prediction is indicated by a green line which goes towards yes, which means that this visitor will buy something on the website. The important features in the path towards the prediction are total page views, whether the visitor is from US or no, and the total number of hits. Now let us see how these factors contribute towards the prediction using something called SHAP analysis, which stands for Shapley Additive Explanations. You see 2 vertical dotted lines. The black dotted line corresponds to the expected probability that a visitor will buy something. We see that this is approximately 10%, and this corresponds to the Pareto analysis which was shown earlier, which indicates that only 10% of visitors buy something. The horizontal bars represent different factors and how they add up from moving the visitor from 10% to more than 50% probability of buying something. The very high number of page views is contributing 26%. We see that a very high total number of visits, which is 8 visits in this case, is contributing 34% towards the probability to buy. The fact that the visitor is not from US is reducing the contribution by 15%, but the higher total number of hits is increasing the contribution towards the probability of buy. After considering all contributions, we see that the probability of buy has moved from 10% to almost about 60%. And this is more than 50%, which means that the visitor is predicted to buy something on the website. Now, once we have predicted which visitors will buy, let us now see how much revenue will these visitors generate. So here is the decision tree model for the revenue generated. And let us now predict the revenue for this visitor. And we see that it is predicted that this visitor will generate a revenue of about $57 US. Thank you for watching, my friends. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like and comment on the video.